Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Snee. I'm the director of the Center for Ethics and Excellence in Public Service. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the University of Scranton and to the 2025 Scranton Mayoral Debate. I'm happy to announce that all 4 of the candidates who made it onto the ballot accepted our invitation to participate in this debate. I'm also grateful that our panel of journalists agreed to select and ask all of our questions this evening. This event is being both recorded and live streamed on multiple media outlets. The recording will be available on various platforms associated with both ECTV and the university. Before we begin, I have a few requests. The first, please turn off or silence your phones. Thank you. Second, we ask that you please refrain from expressions of support or opposition, approval or disapproval. We have limited time and would like to devote all of it to letting the voters hear from the candidates and not the other way around. This includes, if you would please, holding your applause until the very end after all of the candidates have given their closing statements. I'm sure no one came here this evening to cause a disturbance, but if anyone in the audience did, we would, of course, have to ask you to leave. Finally, please be aware that it is our policy that no person, candidate, or political group is authorized to use or edit any media from this event for campaign purposes. Any such media requires written approval from the university. That said, I'm happy to share that I have 2 University of Scranton students with me this evening who are going to be helping with the event. First, we will hear from Philip Huffman, president of the College Republicans, who will introduce our candidates and the panelists. He will be followed by Grace Lennox, president of the College Democrats, who will then review the rules of the debate format.
Beginning on the left side of the room, we are joined this evening by Independent candidate Jean Barrett, Republican nominee Trish Bynum, Democratic nominee Paige Cognetti, and Independent candidate Rick Little. Our panel of journalists, who have selected and will be asking all the questions, includes Donnie Collins from the Times Tribune, Elizabeth Hakis from Fox 56, and Boris Krauchenyuk from WVIA.
Moments ago, candidates drew lots to determine the rotating order in which they will be answering the first and all subsequent questions. They again drew lots to determine the order in which closing statements will be delivered. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Any time not used is gone. Time cannot be saved for future questions. Our timers will hold up 30-second signs for the candidates to see when that amount of time remains. If necessary, our timers will hold up a sign that says stop when the 2 minutes have expired. The candidate who is not answering when their time expires may complete their sentence after the stop sign is held, but if they try to go on any longer, we will need to interrupt. Candidates are asked to please direct all of their remarks to the audience and to refrain from trying to directly engage with other candidates. This causes confusion about the order in which candidates are supposed to answer and could result in an uneven distribution of time. Finally, because we have such a large group on the stage, each candidate is limited to just one 30-second rebuttal opportunity. If a candidate wants to respond immediately to an answer given by an opponent, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Again, you may only do this once. After all questions have been asked and answered, we will invite each candidate to deliver their 2-minute closing statement. If the candidates are ready, we will now move on to our first question, which will be asked by Donnie Collins of the Times Tribune and answered first by Rick Little.
Thank you. And thank you again, candidates and Mayor Cognetti, for your participation tonight. First question, we'll start with Mr. Little. What do you believe is the most pressing challenge facing the city of Scranton over the next 4 years? And if re-elected or elected mayor in November, how do you plan to address that challenge?
Well, I think the biggest problem is dealing with the basic democracy problem that everybody seems to be talking about, but is specific to this area since 1976 when Scranton got the home rule charter. There's 67 counties in Pennsylvania. Only 8 of them have home rule charters, and our county has a home rule charter. And it's behind the times. I mean, the law that made home rule charters legal was in 1856 called the Dillon Act out of the state of Iowa. And this is almost before the Democrat and Republican parties had started, and they've carried it on like Boss Tweed, where the parties are overruling democracy. They get rid of somebody who is a part of the party. It has to be somebody else in the party. We've been going through that in Lackawanna County with the replacement of one of the commissioners, and it's just costing the taxpayers a lot of money because of the lawyer class are making so much money. I mean, a person on city council makes 1/15 that all these judges are making, and we've just been going for 8-9 months trying to find who's in charge and what the legality of it is. And as mayor, I'd like to bring back the idea of local, like Tip O'Neill local, think local. Local is most important, and that includes the media and the way things, the way the government, the local government takes care of the people here.
Mr. Barrett.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. What do you believe is the most pressing challenge facing the city of Scranton over the next 4 years? And if elected mayor in November, how do you plan to address that?
I feel the most pressing challenge is safety within our neighborhoods. The crime rate has increased significantly over the last, especially since 2020. I think we have to get a handle on that. We have to work with local, state, federal resources to do a better job than we're doing now. To have our families feel safe in the neighborhood, have the people in downtown Scranton feeling safe within their businesses and so on. So I think, to me, that's the one of the major priorities is safety within the city of Scranton. Thank you.
Ms. Biden?
I also agree. I think that the crime and the safety in the city of Scranton is the most important in our area. I know crime has increased over the past few years. It concerns me, it concerns my neighbors. I definitely think we have to back the Blue as much as possible. They're doing a fantastic job, but they can always use a little bit more support from the city of Scranton and the city administration. Also, I would think it would be a nice idea to possibly bring back undercover police. I believe that was something of the past and they let it go. I think that would be a fantastic idea. This might help reduce the gangs in our area and the drug problems we're having. I feel confident that if we can bring that back the Blue, make sure that they have what they need to keep going forward for us, that'll be a great opportunity for us to feel safer going forward the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cognetti.
Sure. Policing is, of course, one of the most important issues that any mayor faces. We have invested millions and millions of dollars into our police technology and training to make sure that our officers have what they need to keep us safe, have what they need to solve crimes and solve crimes quickly. I always say don't commit a crime at all, but if you do it, definitely don't do it in Scranton because we will find you. We have been able to increase the number of cameras, the number of license plate readers, and of course, even the number of police officers that we have on our force. We added 5 to the force. Excuse me, this is a.
Please, could we allow the candidates to speak, please? We don't want to have to ask you to please. Thank you.
We have invested in our police, our recruiting and training. We've made changes to our recruiting so that we can get more people. If you want to be in law enforcement, you're going to want to be an officer in the Scranton Police Department. I'm
against the war machine by freeing Palestine.
Okay.
Over 100,000 people killed in 2 years of genocide. You said you'd page against the machine, but you know what? Over 100,000 people killed.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen.
Dollars given to Israel because our infrastructure sucks, our healthcare sucks, we're overdosing, we're killing ourselves, we can't make ends meet, and it's all to feed the machine you said you'd rage against. General Dynamics makes missiles that are sent to Israel to kill tens of thousands of children. Will you be a public leader with a backbone and call this a genocide and say, I reject AIPAC money. I reject military-industrial complex money. I will be a person of basic moral decency and be a leader of the moral decency of Scranton. Reject this genocide. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. You're not alone. Don't be scared. Have a conscience. Be courageous.
You will need our votes. And we will tell you now, our tax money is going to spend.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we're able to restore order, we will, of course, get back to the debate. And we thank the rest of you for allowing our candidates to speak. Yeah. I'm not sure that Ms. Cognetti had enough time to finish your answer.
Indeed, I was saying, I'm not sure where the people up here with me are getting their crime stats. We do not have an increase in crime. We have an extraordinary record of combating crime here in Scranton and an incredible police department that we support fully and continue to add to. The tools, the technology, and the training that we have are above all from about 100 miles from here and even more. The technology we have with our Axon body cams you won't find until you get to Baltimore, Maryland. So it's been incredible there. In addition to policing, of course, affordability is incredibly important to everyone. Over 5 years, we've seen almost 1,000 housing units added here in Scranton. That helps decrease the costs of rent. We've fought the utility companies, fought those rate hikes. We want to make sure that the utility companies aren't taking advantage of us. We have been fighting on healthcare too. We have a healthcare crisis already across this country. We have a healthcare crisis here in Scranton as regional hospital may close. So we continue to fight to keep that open. We absolutely want to have that open. We also partner with Geisinger and the investments that they have made and will continue to make. We will stand strong with them to make sure that they can invest where they can here in Scranton and make sure we keep great healthcare here in Scranton.
For the next question, we will turn it over to you, Mr. Barrett. So what does the city need to do to better address homelessness?
Do we have a chance to rebut anything here? Is that not the part of the,
You do get one 30-second rebuttal at some time this evening when you want it.
that's all? 1 30-second rebuttal for each one of these issues?
One 30-second rebuttal for each candidate for the evening. With 4 candidates and 3 people assessing questions.
You got to be kidding me.
This was in the contract. that you
Well,
sent.
yeah. So, okay, go ahead.
So what does the city need to do better to address homelessness?
What do they need better to address homelessness?
What do they need to do to better address homelessness?
The homeless need to get a job, okay? They need to work, okay? Social services are there for them, to provide for them. That's true, okay? But we can't have people who choose to be homeless, right? A lot of people that are out on the street choose to be homeless. That we can't help. All we can do is try to mainstream them into society as best as possible. But in a lot of cases, they choose not to take that availability of those services, and they choose to be homeless. So that is rampant throughout society, not just in Scranton, but across the entire United States. So it's a difficult question, it's a difficult answer, and I'm not sure necessarily I have that answer. Thank you.
Ms. Bynan?
I know we do have a lot of homeless shelters in the area, and I think that's fantastic to help out the homeless people right now. Also, what we could do is possibly see if we can help out with food, clothing, and shelter, and make sure that the homeless know that we have their backs and that we're there for them if they need us. There are areas that they can reach out to for help. I think for the most part, there are a lot of homeless people living under the bridges, and we go by there, and I know there's people that are cleaning up after them and helping them. They shouldn't be under bridges. I think they should be helped as much as possible. I would say the homeless shelters would be the best place for them to get help from, possibly the hospitals. Some of them may have mental conditions, so we need to make sure we reach out for their better mental health, go to the hospitals for there, and make sure that there's people that know that we're out there to help them as much as possible and serve them in the best ability we can.
Working on homelessness is something that takes a whole community. So we have an unsheltered task force that meets quarterly. We've been meeting for years. Tackling the issue requires all the work of our nonprofits, from the nonprofits that feed folks that are in need and also those that shelter. We also have our partners in the mental health community. Scranton Counseling is a big partner of ours, as well as St. Francis. Just today, a gentleman approached me on the courthouse square, and I was able to connect him with St. Luke's that is building a business, a bakery that people coming out of the incarceration system can get a job. So we have an all-hands-on-deck approach. The Scranton Police Department goes on the trail every single day, multiple times a day. They know most of the people that don't have homes by name. We make sure that those folks are safe. If they're committing a crime, if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, they get arrested. But we also make sure that we are keeping them safe and getting them to where they need to go if they can get to a shelter. During the wintertime, we have Code Blue at Weston Field. We have DPW that works in conjunction with SPT and our law department. If there is an encampment, we post 48 hours, make sure that PD is there to give that notice, and then DPW can come in and do cleanup. So it's an all hands on deck approach, not just in our city government, also with the Heritage Valley Authority, also with all of our nonprofit partners. And we see that coordination really means a lot, especially in the face of federal government cutting so many programs and so many programs frozen. We are also worried about Health and Human Services, social services. We're worried about the money that comes in for food. We're worried about the money that comes in to get people rent assistance. We're really looking at a potential cliff here. So we're all hands on deck. We just met actually yesterday morning with that unsheltered task force to talk about those issues.
Mr. Little?
Solving of the homeless problem. I am homeless. I lived for 14 and a half years at Scranton Housing Authority, and they kicked me out for no good reason. I had a feeling they were going to kick me out, so I was looking for some place to live all over Lackawanna County because I wanted to live in downtown Scranton, and there wasn't anything. So I learned the law. I came from New York State, from their family courts there. I think most of the problems with crime is fatherless families. That's the basic of it, and you got this benefit system. And I tried to go to court. I tried to get discovery because I'm living in Adams Avenue high-rise. They're just bursting into my room all the time. They flooded it twice. And I realized, looking back on it, yeah, they were just waiting for the statute of limitations to go away. And people talk about, health and safety benefits, all these programs. I think the local government is just, it's not working right here. Like right after the last election, they cut off food stamps at the Scranton building, and I'm homeless, and their solution for that was to go get an incident report from the Scranton Police Department. The police department does not have a detective for interstate, because they told me that 3 minutes after the food stamps was on, it was stolen in a sanctuary city in California. They send you on a runaround. They send you on a thing filling out applications. But people have to have a basic place to live.
Ms. Bynum,
Yes.
I want to follow up something the mayor said, and you said as well, that crime is a big problem in Scranton. What makes you think that? Have you reviewed
Yes,
the federal statistics that say that crime is up? Or
If you research the 2024 New York Post and other posts online, you will see that homicide and violent crime has increased in the city of Scranton over the past few years.
the New York Post is your source?
Yes, but one of many.
So
That's
what did
one.
the New York Post say?
That violent crime and homicides have increased since 2023 in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
You're up. Sure. Yeah, I will. Yeah, Mayor, do you think that the crime is up in the city of Scranton? Is the New York Post right?
Sorry, is this the correct format for the debate questions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking you, is crime up in the city of Scranton?
As
We're
I-
hearing the other
Okay.
candidates say are, and you said that
As I
it's
said,
not.
no, I'm not sure where the stats are coming from. The New York Post is not a crime database. You can go to the actual crime databases. You can check those stats right online and see that crime is in fact not spiking in the city of Scranton. You can see by every single type of incident what that looks like. Our proactive policing is up 200% under the management of Chief Tom Carroll. So you might see more incidents. That's because we are more proactive in our policing. That's because we have great training. We are going out there on the beat. We have more police on the beat, and we're able to proactively be in the city. I'm not sure where the suggestion that we have undercover police comes from. We certainly have that. We work together every single day and night with the federal level, with the DEA, with the U.S. Marshals, with the county level, the DA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Pennsylvania State Police, the sheriffs at the county office. So it is it was just a full partnership with law enforcement every single day in Scranton. And this is a very safe city. It's a great city to raise your children in. I'm raising my 2 children right here in the city of Scranton. And we have all that crime data available online for anyone to see from the credible news source, credible government sources.
Mr. Little?
For relying on everyone to see, that is one of the biggest problems when they're trying to evict you. It's online. It's notice requirements. And in this town, for the last 40 years, if Scranton Housing Authority wants to evict you, you're evicted because everybody's in their pocket. And for years I tried to, there's no clerk for the magistrate judge. And there's a million rules, the CFR rules at the library. What they're doing, the real crime here is what's happening with the governance here. And the police are always in the middle of it. If there's crime, blame the police. But I think, like in the last question, they use the police. You have to get an incident report from the police, and then you go to the Scranton benefit building, or whatever they call it, the state building, and I'm homeless, and they have me listed as living with my spouse. Now, I've never been married, and then I keep talking to them. Oh, it's just a computer error. And this is the same thing all the lawyers do. They skip over everything, so there's really no due process. There's no constitutional government in Scranton. It's gone the wayside, and it's gone the wayside by the Home Rule Charter. The Home Rule Charter, combined with the Lackawanna County Home Rule Charter, it's unconstitutional. It doesn't look like the Pennsylvania Constitution, doesn't look like the U.S. Constitution as far as due process goes. And once you set that sort of thing up, crime happens all over the place. And this is a sanctuary city. That's it.
Mr. Barrett, your response on crime, like you said, that's the top the number one issue facing the city. What makes you think that?
Well, most of the stats that I'm talking about are the national statistics, FBI statistics, discussions with the district attorney's office. That's where my information is coming from. And at the same time, I don't understand the mayor's comment. So because we have a more proactive reporting process, that is why it appears that there's more crime. That seemed to contradict itself. Thank you.
We'll start with Mayor Cognetti on our next question. Whoever is elected in November will see a vastly different city council. What do you believe are the mayor's most important responsibilities when it comes to working with city council, and how would you attempt to build positive working relationships with members of council who may not align with your ideas politically?
Sure. In nearly 6 years as mayor, I've had four different city council presidents, and council has looked different each year. And we have worked together to make sure that we are running the city well and getting to compromise. We have been able to, throughout each iteration of council, work to compromise and work on legislation to get it to a place where council is comfortable with it. And we've also been lucky that there have been solicitors for city council that have been very good in working with our city solicitor's office. So it's not just the council members, it's also the caliber of the team that city council puts around them. And I think that that's very, very important. So I look forward to working with a new council. You know, I was on the school board on their, you know, we potentially would have a lot of people on the new city council that were also on the school board. And it's important to have that under your belt. You know, you got to manage a budget and you got to understand, but the school board and the city council are very different roles. It's a very, very different place. So I'll look forward to working with a new city council and make sure that we get the city where it needs to be and make sure that we keep on track with the success that we've seen to date. It's been a really fun time getting to those compromises, and we will continue to do that.
Mr. Little?
What was the question?
Okay, how do you attempt to build positive working relationships with members of council who may not align with your ideas politically?
Well, I've been going to council for 6 years. It started out as a selfish thing because they confiscated all my stuff in my storage locker and just kept it under lock for 2.5 years. And I went to the council and they talked to them, but nothing happened. I mean, you have to have a team put together to get the things done that are going. And, you know, it's interesting to me how council works. It's the legislative branch. The mayor's hardly not there, not supposed to be there. And you know, but most of the complaints are about the roads, the street signs, and we haven't had a head of DPW for 9 months and something like that. Don't quote me on that, but you got to bring pride into it. You got to build the city up. You need a great DPW. When I first was speaking there, I said, hey, I said to the mayor, the first time I met her, I said, you know, just get everybody in DPW together and dig a new Lake Lincoln, because there has to be a swimming pool. You know, people are jumping off the gorge thing and dying, and the swimming pool came in around the time of the, you know, 67, 68. And then we get the home rule charter, and everything goes on and on and on with studies, with lawyers, that keeps anything going forward. So getting a good team together, and most important is having good leadership. And I'm going to be the best mayor of Scranton in the last 159 years. I'm going to push it that way to make it a great hometown for the students, for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Barrett?
It's a relatively easy one for me. Having been a former city councilman for 2 terms and 1 term as president of city council, we worked, did we differ with Mayor Connors at the time, God rest his soul? Yes, we did. However, there was constant communication. As chairman of the sewer authority for Scranton Sewer Authority for 7 years, you know, it was not unusual for us to be before council in their caucus to talk about particular matters regarding the sewer authority. And just being on boards and commissions and being before council on various matters, it's all about communication. There never should be a breakdown in communication where it affects the daily impact of the lives of the citizens of Scranton. So it's not that difficult. It's kind of the art of compromise. It's sitting across the table, ironing out your differences, and going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bynum?
Yes, I believe that definitely city council and the mayor have to work hand in hand to get problems solved and not let them drag on. Compromise is absolutely key, listening to what they have to say, getting everyone's opinions together, going forward, making sure that there is nothing held back. People have to be able to express their opinions, let the city know where they're at. Don't let it drag on too long. Everybody needs to have an answer, and they don't want to have it take any longer than it needs to. The city residents come first. I would definitely say compromise, work with the mayor, all the city council, and when the new council does come in, work with them. It's the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you. Mr. Little, we'll start with you for the next question. Flooding is an issue in Scranton, so how can the city continue to make necessary improvements to its stormwater system?
I didn't get the questions. I heard, sorry.
Flooding is an issue in Scranton. How can the city continue to make necessary improvements to its stormwater system?
Yeah, all the systems. I mean, they all have to be connected and coordinated. You know, you got the sewer drain, you got the water pipes, you got the electric pipes, you got all gas pipes, you got all kinds of stuff going on. And each one of them becomes a project. I'm a project-oriented person. To fix, the sewer drain, you have to coordinate that with everything else in the city, so you're not redoing it and hiring lawyers to make sure if you're doing it legal over and over again. And it's just gotten really bogged down in the city. The infrastructure, it's a great city, but the infrastructure's there, but stormwater drains, yeah, we have to fix the pump station before it floods down by Pine Brook or the Lace Factory, wherever it is, before the emergency comes. These people, they figure, oh, we'll wait for an emergency, we'll get money from the Mining Act, we'll get federal money when, a flood comes. I've been watching this area for a long time. I watched the movie, they had the Knox mine disaster where, the mining, the people in charge are in bed with the other people, and I'm a filmmaker. I went to school, and the guy that started my school made this movie called, I lost my thought there. Anyway, to fix the storm drains, that's just one of many things. It has to be, that's causing havoc all over the streets. It has to be addressed, and that's another DPW thing that has to be taken into account.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Infrastructure and stormwater. I'm fully cognizant, experienced in all areas of infrastructure. It's common knowledge that the infrastructure in the city of Scranton is well over 100 years old, and it's collapsing. It's a constant effort to try to repair where those collapses occur, be they city stormwater systems or systems owned by the utilities, be they the water company, the gas company, the electric company, and so on. Years ago up by Stearns, we discovered an old Bell telephone line that was encased in a wooden box culvert. So we have a very old city, we have a very old infrastructure. Stormwater in particular is a problem. If you think about the topography of the city, you can understand certainly why. We have to pinpoint exactly where the major problems are and try to correct those first, and then at the same time try to find funding and so on to correct those problems. It's not an easy solution. It's a very difficult solution. I think we need to work, if there's an opportunity, work with Pennsylvania American Water and assisting us in those efforts as they proceed with the implementation of what's called the long-term control plan for the combined sewer overflow. Then you try to work with them, and when they're making those repairs and construction of those facilities, be they above-ground containment structures or underground containment structures, take an opportunity to see whether or not you can work with the water company to reduce your cost to improve stormwater problem areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bynan.
Yes, I definitely think we have to work with the PAWC to make sure that we work together to get the stormwater problem solved. There are a lot of issues going on. I know I see it constantly around our area of the house and all parts of the city, and the DPW does the best job they can to keep things going. What I would like to see happen is, instead of having the walkability study going on now, they should use the ARPA funds to help maybe with more stormwater repairs. I think that money is there, it's usable, and it should be used in a different avenue than the walkability study. I think that would be a fantastic idea. We'll have extra money out there for that, and we can get the job done a lot quicker. The roads are the most important thing. I think we can hold off on the other bicycle paths, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cognetti.
The city's rescue plan allows for up to, well, we invested in stormwater, parks, streetscapes, which is about downtown safety. We have used rescue plan money to do almost $25 million of stormwater projects throughout the entire city. That's more than 1/3 of the rescue plan going towards stormwater. We have active projects and projects that are being contracted out right now in Manuka, East Mountain. If you're trying to get on East Mountain right now, you might need to take another route because there's so many stormwater projects going on up there. We've got Kaiser Valley that's coming online. We've been working really closely with the state to make sure that we can get the permitting we need to solve that issue there. North Scranton is an active project. We have Tripp Park as well that has an active stormwater project. So we've been tackling, and Meadowbrook, which has been decades in the making sure that we can fix that. These are legacy stormwater issues that have been untouched. Somebody sent me a picture early on in my tenure of 1940 where their home on Merrifield was flooded in the same way that it got flooded in 2023. So we are fixing these things. We are doing the hard work. It is hard. It requires incredible project managers. It requires the right engineers who know what they're doing and have the right relationships. We work with the state. We work with all of the partners that we can, both on the public side and the private side and the governmental side, to make sure that we can get these things done. When it comes to infrastructure, we take it very, very seriously. We have a new pave cut ordinance. If you've seen Pittston Avenue, the water company, who we work with on a daily basis, had a contractor that was not doing a good job, and we worked with them to get a new contractor, and you see the result on Pittston Ave of that. Same thing on Lackawanna Avenue. There was a utility that was there that was not doing a good job, and we pushed, and we are going to have a much, much better result. So it's really important that we continue to do what we need to do with infrastructure. And we have steam pipes underneath the city that Mr. Barrett hasn't mentioned that he actually owns. There are some issues with that. There's some holes in the ground that he needs to fix, and he has not responded to our request.
Kind of dovetails nicely into the next question. Mr. Barrett, you and Ms. Bynan have made the condition of the city streets an issue in this campaign. What kind of condition do you think they're in, and what are you going to do to make sure they're smoother, and how are you going to pay for it?
Let me say this, since I shut the steam system down in 2006, every time Public Works, Police Department, or another utility contacted Community Center Energy regarding a failure, it's been repaired. So I'm not necessarily sure what the mayor is referring to. At the same time, the city streets are in tremendous shape. And mostly it's been caused by utility construction. That, in particular, the water company and the gas company, but more so the water company, have been conducting over the last number of years. I think they haven't been policed properly. Their major construction projects, the temporary restoration until the final pave has not been policed properly. And I think there's a great opportunity to work with those utilities for a total reconstruction or total paving once they're finished. If there's some side streets that are in that general area and there's economies of scale with their paving contractor when they're doing the finish, then it's a unique opportunity that the city could take to save some funds. The contractor's there anyway, and there's a great opportunity to save some money as far as the paving of the streets. Again, the city is at least 100 years old. in most of the paved streets. In some cases, some of them were dirt streets, but that's a long time ago. But it is a tough job. But there are unique, I think, ways to approach it that can reduce the costs and make the roads more passable. Thank you.
Ms. Bynum?
Yeah, I know that the DPW does do a lot of work with the roads, and I thank them for that. They do a good job, the best job they can. I know they don't have the correct foreman on site a lot of times to get the job done. They don't know how much material to put on their trucks. There's a lot of potholes in the city of Scranton. That really needs to take priority. I look at the people driving their cars, they're slowing down, they're wrecking their cars. It's a shame. Then you don't never know if there's going to be somebody on the side of the street you could hit. I think it's a terrible thing that they need to work strongly to get it fixed right the first time. Repairs are important. They should be permanent repairs to the best of their ability. Right now, the repairs, maybe they last a couple weeks, couple months. As soon as it snows, the next thing you know, the roads are torn up again. We need to work with everybody involved, and also the utility companies. They come in and they'll rip something up right after it gets done. There's no coordination. Coordination is key. It needs to be done. It starts at City Hall. You have to work out with everybody. If you could get with the utility companies or who's ever ripping up the roads, make sure that it's done right the first time and not 2 and 3 times. The neighbors are sick of it. I'm sick of it. I live on a street and I have to dodge potholes all the time. I'm disappointed with that. I hope that down the road we can make the right repairs, make long-lasting repairs, and work with the people the best way we can so we don't have to keep ripping roads up 2 and 3 times. Thanks.
Mayor Cognetti?
Yeah, we've invested $9 million in paving, that we use liquid fuels money to do that. Paving a road is very expensive. We love to pave everybody's road every few years. It's just that's not possible. But we do the very best we can, and we do it based on the issues that come before us, people that call DPW, people that call 311. 311 was not something that existed before our administration. We also have an online pothole reporter. So you all sit in the audience, you got a pothole, you put it right in there. DPW will get that and they will fill it when they are able to. So we've really, really ramped up what we can do there. DPW does know how to do its job. They do know what they need to do. They do a great job. And in addition to that, again, like I said, our pave cut ordinance, we've been much more forceful with utilities, and we do coordinate with utilities. We have a monthly meeting, but we also are in coordination on a daily basis between DPW, our project management team, our engineers. I myself connect with some of the utilities myself just to get things going, and if it's a high priority, you want to make sure that they know that I'm looking at it. I'm often, you can see me on the side of the road pulling over to take a picture and send it in to 311 so that we can get that pothole filled. It's always an issue. Every single mayor you talk to in the whole country will tell you that potholes are always what come up, but we are very, very focused on that. We're also very focused on the other pieces of street safety. We put in almost 5,000 street signs, those street name signs, very, very important for public safety so that we can navigate and so that our first responders can navigate quickly. Also school zones. You'll see now around 17 of our schools have new school zones. We've been very specific. We also have flashing red stop signs that are throughout some of our high-risk intersections, and you'll be seeing many more of those. We've been able to make some room in one of our many grants to do that. That's in addition to the streetscapes in the downtown to slow down the traffic and make it safer and better for pedestrians, for drivers, and then to continue to boost our economic growth.
And Mr. Little?
I think that all these problems, I mean, the question was about
Paving streets.
saving the streets.
Paving streets.
Paving the streets. Yeah. I tell you, you have to think of the priorities. So when I became homeless, they throw me out. It's like sub-freezing weather. My biggest tool was my glasses. If I didn't have these glasses and I couldn't look at where I was walking, I walk in the streets. I've walked all over the streets, all over this city. I see how it is. And for my personal survival, I have to see the cracks because I know that one fall, I'm 72 years old. I've been in the hospital before. One fall, that's the end of it. There needs to be a sort of a new kind of civic pride in everything that's going on, and there has to be a coming together of the people of the city. because people are blaming, this faction, this party, that party, this law, that law. It has to come together for Scranton. And that's why I'm here, because too often, most of the time, it's people in Scranton writing a grant or waiting for a federal money or state money to take care of it. And lots of times it's emergency money. No, we have to take care of it here, get the right people together that are proud to work with each other and fix it.
It is already time for our candidates to deliver their 2-minute closing statements. Based on an earlier drawing, Mr. Barrett will go first.
Thank you very much for listening tonight. This is a crucial time in the history of the city of Scranton. Gene Barrett was born here, raised here, spent over 40 years in public and private sector. I spent over 7 years in the United States Army. I was an instructor at the Military Intelligence Advanced Officer class at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. I'm a distinguished graduate of the NCO Non-Commissioned Officers Drill Sergeant Academy of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I spent 2.5 years in the United States Army and Advanced Weapon Missile Command in Germany. My public and private sector experience supersedes any of the people sitting to my left. And that's not an exaggeration. My family is here. I've been in business here. My children are here. My wife is here. We own homes here. My grandchildren are here. I'm here to be your mayor. I'm not trying to propel myself to a higher position in government. I want to be your mayor. I'm fully qualified, fully experienced. I'm at a point in my life where I'm retired, but I have a lot of desire to see Scranton prosper and be progressive as time goes on. I feel I'm capable of doing that. I feel I'm capable of representing the voters of Scranton and all the residents to make Scranton a proud place that everyone will want to live, work, and enjoy their daily lives in the city of Scranton. That's why I'm here this evening. I ask for your support. I want to be your mayor. I don't want to be anything else. I'm not looking for another job. I'm looking for one job. That's mayor of the city of Scranton. Thank you.
Ms. Bynum, you're next.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Trish Bynum. Thank you, everyone, for listening tonight and being here. I appreciate it. And I'm Trish Bynum, and I've lived in northeastern Pennsylvania my whole life. And I moved to Scranton 34 years ago. I proudly calling Scranton my home, Scranton's west side. I'm an accounting executive for well over 34 years, where I've done bonding jobs, I've done contracted jobs. I'm definitely qualified to balance the city, Scranton's budget. I know what I'm doing with the bonds. I know what I'm doing with contracts. I'm very proud of what my background and experience is. I'm also a licensed realtor, so I definitely know the pain and struggles that the city of Scranton residents are seeing with the blight in their area, the housing, and I know that we could all do better. We just have to have the right leadership. I'm the right person for the job. I'm also proud to say that I'm the proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran who was in the service for 4 years. He did a great job. He made me who I am today. I'm a strong, independent woman based on my family values and my background and my experience. I would be humbly honored to be your next mayor. I will do the best job for everyone. Again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for the next 4 years to do the best job I can for everybody. That's what you pay me for. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm not going anywhere. Thank you very much.
I sat on this debate stage 6 years ago when the city was in crisis. The mayor had gone to prison for corruption, but that was not the first public official in very recent memory that had had that same fate. We, in 6 years, have built a government that works for everyone, that there is trust in, that there is excitement in. We won the Governor's Award for Municipal Excellence this year. Our bond rating is now investment credit rating. We have saved millions of dollars so far because of that. We are on the right track. Scranton is the place to invest. You see that throughout. You see the millions and millions of dollars coming in, again, invested alongside our public investment. People do not invest in a place that they think is going downhill. This is a place on the rise. It is a place to move forward. It's a place to raise your family. It's a place to move your business. The people that are on this stage with me tonight would take us right back to where we were. Mr. Barrett ran toxic landfill waste under Greenridge, skirting the approval process of a public board. The Greenridge Neighborhood Association sued him for that. That would take us right back to those days where people think that they can profit personally off of the
I
public
want evidence
good.
of me being sued by the Greenridge Neighborhood Association. You better be careful what you're saying here, Mayor.
It is in the archives of the newspapers of record in this city. In the case of Ms. Bynon and the construction company for which she works, we did do many audits throughout these last many years. Unfortunately, in one of those audits, we discovered that there was $238,000 that had been given to said construction company in the prior administration, and the work was never performed. We only just recovered that money a month ago.
You had to make a settlement for that because you knew you were wrong.
It took a lot to
saying.
recover our money for that. If we want to move forward, we're going to continue to move forward with the current administration. We are doing a great job. And if I am, excuse me? Okay. If I am successful, okay,
If we could please allow the candidates to finish their closing statements. Thank you.
They have to be facts.
okay, are we done?
We're done. Just as long as they're facts.
We have spent 6 years moving the city forward. I know the people of Scranton want to keep moving forward. We cannot go back to where we were. If I am elected to Congress in 2026, I will make damn sure that in 2027, there is someone sitting here on this debate stage that I can pass the torch to continue to make progress.
Mayor, why don't you tell them what you had to pay me to make me go away?
Mr. Little, you have the final closing statement.
Taxpayers' money. I didn't want it. I wanted to do the job.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one final closing statement, please. Thank you. Mr.
I
Little?
start now?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I came to Scranton out of New York State Family Court, and that's where I really learned just how much this judiciary thing, when you have government, three parts of government, and the judiciary is just taking too much. I think everybody can see that over and over and over. They're all little unions. The Bar Association is a trade union, and like the school board union, and I was evicted by the school board law firm. Where did they get all the money for the best law firm that knew all the judges in Scranton to make me homeless? And then you have all these other projects, Act Blue, but there's 76,000 people in Scranton, and there's only 20 beds, shelter beds. It has to be. Most of the people living, it's like lost souls living in a fishbowl year after year. I mean, there's no Pledge of Allegiance here at this meeting. There's no newspaper announcement about this debate. There's no debate of the council people. People we're just going along, and you're talking about, in the past. I've read the history of this place, and you got to get down to the great things that happened here and how it went wrong. And to make it right, it's going to take people coming together. to fix things. Thank you.
I'm not going to sit here, Mr. Moderator, and have the mayor make a libelous statement against me, all right?
You do have a
So-
30-second rebuttal that you haven't used yet, which you're
All
welcome to
right,
use.
I will.
Please do.
I will. Is it my turn for the rebuttal? This may be against the rules, but here's what I have. This is a picture of garbage juice flowing down Music Street into a storm drain at the corner of South Webster Avenue. Now, the mayor is telling me that I'm violating federal rules and regulations. We are operating under a consent decree. That consent decree comes from the Department of Justice into EPA, DEP, Scranton Sewer Authority, and so on. Scranton City Council, the mayor of the Scranton, Dunmore Borough Council, and so on. So Gene Barrett is sitting in Scranton, and he's going to violate an order from the Department of Justice? Really? I don't think so.
I'd like to, on behalf of the University of Scranton and the Center for Ethics and Excellence in Public Service, I'd like to thank all of our candidates for participating this evening, as well as our panel of journalists. It certainly has been an interesting debate. I'd also like to thank our media partners, especially ECTV, and our media relations team for making this event possible. I would also like to thank our university police representatives who are here this evening to help us out. Finally, I'd like to thank the remaining members of the audience for creating the positive environment that we needed for this important and civil exchange of ideas. Please remember to vote on November 4th. Have a wonderful evening.